Sudan's army and a rival paramilitary group have agreed to a 3-day truce for the end of Ramadan. But witnesses say there's still fighting in the capital, Khartoum. More than 400 people have been killed and thousands more injured since violence erupted a week ago.
The call to prayer rings out across this district in Khartoum. As worshippers gather inside the mosque to celebrate Eid, the end of the holy month of Ramadan, they are also praying for peace.
We
don't feel like it's Eid with everything that's happening. It was the same over the last few days of Ramadan. We thank God anyway. It's God's will. What's taking place is inevitable, since a country ruled by two leaders cannot move forward. There can't be two armies. We're with the armed forces of the people, since they are the people.
Fighting between the army and the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces group has continued for a week. All attempts at a ceasefire have so far proved short-lived. With the airport closed and damaged, the EU and the 7 member states with missions in Sudan, including France, Germany and Italy, must try to get an estimated 1,500 nationals trapped in Khartoum out safely. The number of Germans who contact us is growing every day and is currently in the low 3-digit range as of today, Friday afternoon. We inform local Germans daily with the so-called compatriot letter on the latest developments. Some of them are also currently cut off from all communications. But as gunfire resumed in Khartoum shortly after the two sides announced a 72-hour ceasefire, this latest truce is already crumbling.
And joining us now is journalist Matt Nashat in Cairo, who is following developments in Sudan for us. So, Matt, what can you tell us about the situation in Sudan right now? Was the ceasefire respected overnight?
Thank you for having me, first off. Again, no, the ceasefire, unfortunately, does not seem to have been respected. There was reports throughout the night that there was a bit of a lull in fighting. However, now reports have picked up again that, fighting has picked up. And I think, it just goes back to the original sin of trusting these leaders with their words before their actions, unfortunately. And now, we're seeing both forces committing to further promises without actually, making good on their original ones. So unfortunately, no, a ceasefire in the sense that we would like to see it has not occurred in Sudan yet.
And of course, we know that throughout this week of fighting now, civilians are the ones who are suffering. The humanitarian situation was quite dire. What are citizens' most urgent needs?
Everything. I think, how to start. I think there's obviously people are making, incredibly difficult decisions of whether or not to stay in their homes or to flee, and I'm particularly referring to Khartoum, the capital here, because obviously the basic necessities like water, petrol, fuel, electricity, food, none of these things are available in the supplies or quantities that it should be available in. And at the same time, there's a lot of shelling. So obviously those resources are very important, but then equally important, in order to get those resources, they need safe spaces and safe spaces to be. So trying to get evacuated to safe areas and just to be in areas that are at least somewhat distant from fighting and relatively safer than where the fighting is taking place. And then thirdly, I would say medical supplies. Listen, a lot of hospitals have been damaged. There's a number of informal activist networks that have taken it upon themselves to reopen hospitals that were closed from beforehand by trying to ration fuel, bringing doctors, getting some forms of electricity and powering up machines, all in a bid to try to save and rescue lives. And these measures are taking place, so it's dire measures of people that have no other choice but to take it upon themselves to help people, precisely because there's just such a shortage of medical personnel and medical clinics and hospitals to assist people.
That was journalist Matt Nashad reporting from Cairo on the situation in Sudan. Matt, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me.